I'm gonna give a cue like this. Say, that'd be the kick drum, right? Bet, bet, bet. You did it. Just fall right into it, right? So I go, bet, 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 right into it. You got a suit to match that hat? Got a suit to match that hat? First is kick by itself. So we call this out at any given time, right? I say, can I get the shit? There, can I get the shit? That's the kick drum. All right, ready? Actually, you go. Oh, you'll hit 4. Yeah, hit the bass. No, though. Yeah. Here we go. Now get the shit. You'll hit those notes. Yeah. Give me the shit! Alright, just let the kick do it by itself. The shit! That big one, huh? I ain't ready to sing. Keep hitting it. you hit that. Sometimes I'm feeling in need. I call another brother. Talking about hey, please, give it to me. Hey, keep that be going behind it. Horn. Keep the horn line going. You don't start to say, give me some popcorn, right? Sometimes I'm feeling need. Oh, another brother. Talking about hey, please. Hey! Oh, no. Come blow your horn. Don't want no trash. Don't want no trash. Where your hi-hat is on this part. There. On the three. Come on, Jelly Bean. It's a big one. Don't want no trash. Don't want no trash. Don't want no trash. Give me some of that popcorn. Popcorn. Right. Ah, Lord. Get the shit. What do I need? What do I need? No, the shit.
The shit.
What is it that I need?
The shit.
Like a fat, some like a bowl, and when you walk, get a lazy know. I like a fat, I like a big. Gonna take the other step there.
Keep it real loose. Talking about psychedelic goose.
Hey everybody, welcome to Twitch Sports. We are live and in living color. My name is Seth Everett. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. You are welcome to chat. You're welcome to subscribe. You're welcome to follow. And we're also part of Twitch Sports, which is a real honor. Today we're going to have a couple of guests on the show. We're going to have our old friend Atan Thomas, who I wouldn't have started this channel without. He's going to talk about the NBA Finals in about 8 minutes from now. Then we are going to switch gears. I have some baseball stuff I have to get out, and then we're going to talk NFL. Cam Cleland, former tight end, is going to join us from out there in Oregon. So we're going to go all across the country. Atan's in D.C., I'm in New Jersey, and Cam is out there in Oregon. He does morning sports radio out there in Cleveland. For those of you who know who I am, I'm going to bore you for the next couple of minutes, but for those of you who don't, let me just tell you a little bit about who I am. My name is Seth, and I am here on this program. And if somebody's saying they can't see me, if anybody else is telling me they can't see me, please let me know, because anytime I get that, I get nervous. But I have been in broadcasting for 25 years. Going on 26, actually. I went to Syracuse University. You'll always notice I talk a lot about Syracuse University because I love that place as well. I started my career at Syracuse. I moved over to Denver. I covered the Broncos. I worked with the Avalanche. I covered the Rockies and even a little with the Nuggets. I then went to Seattle, worked with the Mariners a lot. I worked for a team called the Seattle Supersonics, if you remember them. And if you ever ask me what my favorite NBA team is, I'm always going to say the Seattle Supersonics. I will always say that because it's a crime that they don't exist. And if you want, I can do the whole 90 minutes on just how much of a crime that is. And hopefully Seattle gets a team back. That will be absolutely wonderful. Other things that I've done, I came back to New York. I worked for Major League Baseball for 8 years. That was a hoot and a holler. Worked for ESPN, worked for Fox Sports Radio, covered all kinds of teams. I'm currently covering the New York Jets for Sports Illustrated. I haven't seen a victory yet since I took the gig, but we have that as well. You know, I'm telling you, sports is in a weird time right now. Sports is in a time when I feel weird watching it. Some of the games that don't have fans, I think it's really lacking. Sometimes I worry about the safety. But now the NBA just completed. The NHL's been completed. I just saw the French Open yesterday. That's over. That had fans. Football games, it's strange, and there's been positive cases throughout the league, and I'm not sure what they should be doing. There's so much now. And there's one thing that you have to look at this point. And from what I understand, we have about 4,000 people in here. So I want to say hello. One thing I want to say is if it can happen safely, I'm all for it. But when it can't be, I want these leagues to just acknowledge that there's a chance it can't be. I don't mind that the NFL has rearranged their schedule. That's not a problem. What the problem is that they're shoehorning in these games, taking bye weeks away. The Denver Broncos got screwed out of this thing because they had to spend all week preparing for a game that didn't get played, and now they lose their bye week. And there's problems with that because what the NFL could have done is they could have easily just added on a week or two at the end of the regular season as a buffer week and put your playoffs a little bit later. I don't think anybody would have minded. And if they came out and had full transparency and suggested, then you can easily go there. You could easily, put that into the schedule, and I don't think anybody would be complaining. I don't even think the people who think COVID-19 is not a thing, I don't think they would mind. And I think there's some validity to that. I thought the NBA did a great job. I thought the NBA having their bubble was necessary. And I thought the biggest thing from a sports business standpoint was the fact that China aired Game 6. What? China? If you think about when this season started and the controversy around Daryl Morey, and now China is there, that's pretty remarkable. If you are here watching on Twitch Sports and you want to come over on this, 100% of you are saying, can you see Seth on the screen? Thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried. But slow down in my chat room. If you're in my chat room, I see you first, and then I see the Twitch Sports as well. So I can see both of you. But if you're in the Twitch chat room, if you're in my chat room, and you say something nice, for example, if you say something nice, I can put it on the screen just like that. And I see, that's how fancy I am. I am that fancy. And I can do that, and now we can clear that. So we do that, and voila. So you can jump on my chat room, or you can jump on the Twitch Sports one. I'm going to be looking at both, and I'm going to ask for both as well. Let's welcome in our first guest, Etan Thomas. Of course, like I said, if you've been following this channel for a long time, he is a dear friend of mine. We started this channel back in the quarantine days, and now he has become a multimedia superstar, was recently on NBC's Meet the Press, and now doesn't return my phone calls. It's the great Etan Thomas. How are you, sir?
How you doing, sir? Don't say I don't return your phone calls. I text back, though.
Yeah, you do text back. You're a good texter. You're definitely a good texter. Hey,
how you been, man?
It's good to see you again. And you're writing now for Basketball News. Is that true?
Yeah, basketballnews.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So next year, will you go in the bubble?
I don't know about all that. I'll be writing from afar. You know me. You already knew the answer to that, Seth, before you asked that question.
Oh, I've been setting it up. I've been waiting for this. What did you think of the way it all ended? What did you make of yesterday? And what did you think of just the fact that the NBA was competing against things they never compete against? They had Game 1 of the American League Championship Series up against a Sunday night football game. And I did a poll on my Twitter, and 60% were watching football, which is what America is.
Right.
Did the NBA miss something? Should they have finished this? What's your take on all that?
I mean, I don't know. I saw the reports that said about the ratings, and the ratings were the lowest that they've kind of ever been for the NBA Finals. They were up against a lot. I don't know, but the game itself was exciting. The NBA Finals, they were exciting. I got to give a lot of props, a lot of respect to Miami. I thought they played great, especially Jimmy Butler. I thought it was fantastic, but I thought the product, because for when we talked about it during the summer, I was very skeptical about how the bubble would even work. Mm-hmm. First of all, and then I was skeptical about the product, because when it first started, it didn't look good to me. You know what I mean? It was the TV monitors that were up there, and I said how it looked like the Hunger Games, because it was, it just looked weird.
Sluggish. You said
right.
Sluggish. I remember.
But then it just got better. The product got better, and the playoffs were exciting, and the product was well. I mean, I can't speak for the ratings. I don't know what the ratings were and everything like that, but I thought the actual games were all very exciting.
We got a question from the Twitch Sports chat already, and he says, kind of feel like the two losses were suspect. Why did they blow them out 3 times, lose twice, and then blow them out again?
Well, I don't know. I got to say Jimmy Butler kind of put the team on his back. The playoffs are all about adjustments, and they were making adjustments. And you saw in the final game, the Lakers had to make an adjustment by taking Dwight Howard out of the starting lineup and entering Alex Caruso. I have big man bias, admittingly, so I wasn't in favor of that, but you saw they had to adjust to what Miami was doing well. if they weren't doing anything well, they wouldn't have needed to adjust. But I thought that I have to give Miami credit because nobody thought that they would be in that position in the NBA Finals once this playoff started. Nobody outside the Miami
Milwaukee or
locker
Boston,
room.
right? It was
No
always going to be
question.
Milwaukee or Boston.
Nobody thought they was going to upset Milwaukee in the first round. I mean, number 8 seed beating a number 1 seed, and then nobody had them really getting past Boston. So they just really have been underdogs. They were like the NCAA Cinderella team. Like that one shining moment, you had a commercial and everything. That was Miami Heat this year. So you got to give them props.
What about the idea that the reason, and you and I talked about this over the summer, the reason why the quality of play and you had an upset like the 8 versus 1 is because the travel wasn't involved, that everybody was in the same space except for Lou Williams. And
except for Lou Williams. I knew that was coming. That was good. That was a good way to
we got
say
4,000 people watching us. I gotta
No, that was good.
Somehow.
No, that was good. I think that the travel, people underestimate how much wear and tear the travel has on you. Even talking about going from coast to coast, from time zone to time zone.
Even though it's first class travel, it's still an issue, right?
It's still an issue. Your
Explain
body gets
that
tired.
if you can, because that's the thing that I don't think a lot of fans get. They're like, you're not sitting in the middle seat in Delta.
Well, that's true. It's not Delta. You're not going through the airport. You're not.
No offense
to
to
waiting.
Delta, if anybody's watching from Delta.
Well, you're not waiting for your group to be called like Southwest. You know what I mean? So you can board the plane. I get it, but it's still a 4 or 5 hour trip from coast to coast. And you're getting in the middle of the night, and then you have to wake up, so your body just gets tired. One of the things that we talked about is, the games. A lot of times, the guys' legs looked fresher, except for the Clippers. I don't know what was going on with the Clippers, but everybody else, aside from the Clippers, they looked like they had fresh legs the whole time. They didn't look like sluggish during the playoff. They didn't look tired as it went on. And that's one of the things that's different when you cut out traveling. I'm going to be interested in see what they do next season. Because, when they'll start, what type of system they'll be. And that's where, because Adam Silver is very cautious and someone who is looking at the coronavirus numbers and then trying to proceed from there. But I don't know what you do next year. Do you go back to a bubble? Do you have regional bubbles? Do you go to Canada, which I'm all the way in favor for all the time, going to Canada? You know that.
That's because I made you a hocky fan all summer, and
you did, but it made sense though. Canada that makes sense, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do next year.
And I want to send a special shout out to all the folks that are watching on Twitch Sports. Thanks to our man Sausage Water who just followed. You're welcome to follow this channel because we're going to be doing shows that aren't just on Mondays. We're going to do other shows, and Atan's going to be a big part of it as well. So make sure that if you can, say hello. There's also there's donate buttons on the channel now. There's subscribe buttons on the channel now. I mean, this is like a major deal that we have here. You referenced next season, and I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't think they know what they're going to do because Adam Silver came out and said today he hopes it can be in regular arenas with fans. And I just don't know when you can have that. And indoors, in bad weather cities, how are you getting fans in the stadium? And how do you have enough fans to make it worth their while? I mentioned just before you came on, the last 2 games for the NBA Finals have been aired in China.
I saw that.
That's massive.
Yeah, I did see that.
That is massive. And what I just wonder is I don't think the bubbles make sense for a long term. And I think that's what baseball was trying to say when they wouldn't go to a bubble, but now they do. You notice the baseball playoffs are now in the bubbles. They are in San Diego for the American League and Arlington for the National League. Now they're letting fans in, but I don't understand. That's baseball. Don't worry, I have rants for after you're long gone. But
I'm sure.
But the argument for basketball and hockey's the same way. Is this could work? You started a season that was cut short by the pandemic, and then you managed to recreate both of them.
Right.
But my question then becomes, what is sustainable? And would you do half seasons? Would you do a 48 game season in the NBA? Would you really try to play 82 and then have the finals in July again? There's so many untold questions, and that's assuming we are better off with COVID than we are right now.
Right. So, I mean, that's the thing is Adam Silver is going to pay attention to the numbers. I think that when you look at different options that they have, of course, everybody wants to be back to regular arenas, regular fans, but that might not be what the situation calls for. So then do you go to regional bubbles? Is that an option? You know, I mean, they're going to proceed in some way. I think that it's a good thing just for the mental psyche of the players for Adam Silver to have made the adjustment to allow them to have their families come in. You know, guys that have families and kids, that's a long time for them to be away for their families. And so I've heard a lot of players talking about that adjustment really helped them a lot. But they're also
saying, not to cut you off, but they're also saying it was a grind. There are players that are saying they are excited to get out of there. Somebody on Twitter was classic. He said the Lakers are the first team to win a championship and leave Disney World.
They leave Disney World. Oh, they can't wait to get out. They can't wait to go back.
If Disney does a commercial where they say, well, you just won the NBA title, LeBron James goes, and we're getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, right? No question. No question. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. You know, I have no idea. I don't even know. You know, nobody knows anything right now.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? So everything's such a big question mark. So, you know, but I would feel comfortable in the way that Adam Silver has handled everything this season, that he would proceed with caution and do the thing that makes the most sense. You know what I mean? He's not like the Florida governor, DeSantis, who's just going to say, open it up regardless. Bring all the fans in.
He said bring all the football fans, and the Miami Dolphins are even like,
I saw that.
Hold on.
What is his deal, Seth? What is up, man?
I'm telling you, that guy, and we're not going to do a lot of politics on this show, but I'm going to say that guy has a chair next to Lex Luthor and the Riddler in the Legion of Doom because he is something else. Rage85 Magic asks us and says, if Jimmy had to go to any other team, what team would fit best?
I mean, I think he's fine where he is. I mean, I'm more, you know, thinking of what player could go with him to put them over the hump. And of course, you got to think Giannis. I don't think that Giannis is going to go anywhere, but if he does go somewhere, you know, Miami would have to be at the top of the list. Of course, you'd have Golden State right there at the top of the list as well. But Jimmy Butler, I mean, the way, you know, I talk about my AAU team a lot, and I'm talking to them because, you know, now everybody wants to shoot threes. It's just a 3-point shooting contest every game. And I'm like, look,
because pretty soon there'll be no center position.
Oh, don't say that.
They're getting rid of the center position.
No, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen, Seth. They're trying, but we're not going to let that happen. The curse is for you. No, bite your tongue on that. You know what I mean? But this is what I've been telling him. Jimmy Butler scored 40 points without taking a single three-pointer. It was all mid-range. That is fantastic.
And he was under the basket. I saw,
He was driving. He was kicking out to Hero, kicking out to his shooters. You know, it was beautiful to watch. And it's good to get back to that. You know, Golden State for a while winning just has everybody just wanting to shoot threes all the time. That's it. Just 3-point shooting contests. And you know, basketball is different. I don't want to sound like the grumpy old man, you know what I mean? Get off my lawn. But I don't like the way basketball is played sometimes, you know, nowadays. You just dribble, shoot, the James Harden thing. I'm like, pass the ball, cut, do something, get open. You know what I mean? It's just
Did you saw a lot more of it than I did. Were they talking about the 3-point line? Because that was something, remember right before the pandemic hit, that was a big storyline, was that they were talking about next year moving the 3-point line in. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that too much this year.
Have they I guess my question is, have they abandoned that? Because, again, to your point, aren't you trying to encourage action? And I don't know that 3-pointers are action.
Yeah, but people like scoring. So, I don't know. According to their analytics, people like scoring. I go back to the good old days of, you know, Miami, New York battles. You know, they're beating each other up. The scoring is in the 80s. I thought that was great basketball. And I don't think that the ratings were much lower then than they are now. You know what I mean? And people will tell you that was great basketball. So I kind of, sometimes analytics, you know, I don't know. They're kind of iffy. I'll say that. You know what I mean? I get it. It's the numbers and the polling that you have is that people like scoring, but I don't know.
Yeah, look, the issue for me has been, I thought the competition was great. And I'm on record as saying that. And that's all I've asked for. Go into a season where there are 7 teams that could win the championship, not 3. And give me that. And you had that this year, and you didn't count on it. They didn't count on it. They didn't know.
Right.
But the question then becomes, do you think it's a crossroads for this sport right now, because they are trying to grow a product that they've done remarkable. And Adam Silver made a great point. He said, I don't know when we're coming back, and I don't know what we're doing, but follow us on social media and follow our players, because they tell you everything. And he was
That's
right.
true.
And
That's
he's
true.
right. And I like that. And I love that aspect of it. But I wonder how much of their situation is going to be focused on the bottom line, the business angle, and just saying we've got to do whatever is best for our bottom line, because we took a massive financial hit doing this bubble and all the other things. And I can't argue with them. They did take a massive financial hit. Or are they going to say, let's take this opportunity to tweak our game even better to make it more like what it was in September of 2020?
Well, one thing I'll say about Adam Silver is that he's a lot different than David Stern. And, I just saw, article, I was actually going to post it right after the show, that they announced that they was giving, $1,000 bonus and Fridays off and 4 Thanksgivings off and something like that for all the league employees as a thank you. You know what I mean? For everything. But I wouldn't, that's not something that happened under David Stern. You know what I mean? They didn't get rewarded for them. There's been different things that league employees had to work through. He didn't do anything specific for league employees after Katrina happened. After, and I don't want to start going on a tangent against David Stern, but I'm more giving credit to Adam Silver for sometimes he does things a little bit opposite of what would make business sense. You know what I mean? So it would have made business sense for him, even going back to China. So when China said, I want you to take care of that not take care of, but let's not take care of him. But you know what I mean? To fire him, to reprimand him, Daryl Morey, and he said, no, I'm not going to do
rubbed
that.
Out, yeah.
Right. I didn't mean take care of him, but you know what I'm saying? They made, and he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Even going to where the analytics will tell you, with his embrace of social activism and actually putting Black Lives Matter on the court, that all analytics will tell you that would be a negative thing as far as viewership, that you would have a portion of mainstream America that will not respond positively to that, or that he allows the players to continue taking a knee. So he doesn't always go with exactly what makes most business sense. So I got to give him respect for that.
But the argument for the NBA, the problem is there's no empirical data that backs up that claim, that people are going to say that, letting these players have their voice and, they can change the names on their jerseys and they can put Black Lives Matter. They could do all those things. And I don't think that's a reason why people didn't tune in as much.
Of course not. No,
because
but the
you're playing
analytics
the
say
NFL,
that.
the NFL and the baseball and the college football
Yeah,
and
but
hockey
come
was
on,
going
Seth.
on. There's all
But
these
Seth-
things. It's September for God, or now it's October.
But what are the dots that Trump has connected every time he talks about the low ratings that the NBA has? Because nobody wants to see all of the woke athletes and all of the people going against America and everything, and everybody's turning the channel, low ratings. That's what he says, right? So if you have the president of the United States saying those things, a lot of people from a business, whether they're factual or not, you're going to have a reaction from it. You know what I mean? But Adam Silver hasn't done that.
Well, and Adam Silver is definitely, I think, the most forward thinking. I mean, he embraced technology. He embraced sports gambling before anybody else did. He's my white whale. I've told you that story. He's the guy I can't get on my Sports with Friends podcast. Because he was in the room and I had to run across a room and I body checked the president of the New York Jets, and I got there and he had just walked out, and I had this interview, and that was 2 years ago, and I'll never let it down. So literally, if Knowing You has produced one thing, please just give me. I'll text him. I'll text Adam Silver. We'll do it live on this channel. We've got so many things to ask him, but I do think ultimately. To kind of put a bow on this conversation, because I want to pick your brain on it. 2 other things before we go. I thought it was important for them to finish this one. And I didn't think that back in March. If you remember, I was against the NBA or the NHL. I said, those seasons are over. Right. I said, there's no way you're going to pull this off. And they created the bubbles. They created everything. Like I said, hockey did it first, but that's not neither here nor there. The reality of it is that now going forward, I don't know. I have a big shrug your shoulders, and I don't know if Adam Silver was on this show right now. He doesn't have an answer. Not for a lack of forthcoming. It's because he doesn't know. What he ideally wants to do is have everyone in their arenas. Right. And I don't know how you're doing that. I'll ask this to the fans. If you're living in Milwaukee, are you going to see the Bucks? Are you going to see the Boston Celtics in Boston in the dead of winter with COVID all over the place? Are you doing that? Like, and I'm on record, and I've been called names on social media for saying it. I think you can have 10,000 fans at a football stadium because those places are massive. And if you look at the constitution of those stadiums, you can put 10,000 people in those stadiums safely, very safely. And I was and I don't know if I've spoken to you since, but I went to Yankee Stadium. I've been to a baseball game this year. Okay. And that place is massive. You could get 10,000 people in Yankee Stadium easily, and it can be done safely. What I can't do is I'm not letting 35,000 people go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Yeah. The argument against the NBA is it's indoors, it's processed air, and you're on top of each other.
Yeah.
And if I told you right, and if I told you no, if I said no, you could not have fans in the arenas. Let's just say there was a governor of a state that says no, Boston Celtics or New York Knicks, you can't put fans in the stands. I don't know that Adam Silver doesn't say, then let's hold off.
Yeah, I mean,
because I don't want to do this halfway. I can't do it another way.
Right. Well, I mean, if he can come up with another way to do it, I mean, like I said, regional bubbles. I mean, it would have to go from there. But I'm with you. I don't see how it's going to work with fans in the arenas. I don't see how it's going to work.
I don't know. Real quick, the NFL, they've had outbreaks. The Tennessee Titans, the New England Patriots, they've scheduled a bunch of things. And I said at the very beginning, I would just want the NFL to just be transparent and just add a week or two at the end of the regular season, 18 and 19, weeks 18, 19, and push the Super Bowl back and push the playoffs back and just say, we're doing the best we can. We're trying. And just level with people. But that's not what they're doing. They're shoehorning in the Patriots, and the Broncos got so screwed. They had a whole week of practice for a game that didn't get played, and now they lose their bye week, which is so stupid, and it's all avoidable.
I agree. No, I agree 100%. You're preaching to the choir on that one. I definitely agree.
I
agree.
It makes no sense. I mean, I'm sorry. It makes no sense. Last thing.
Wait. I got to ask you real quick, though. Did I see that the Carrier Dome was leaking? Please tell me that's not what I saw. Is that what I saw, Seth? Did I see the brand new Carrier Dome top was leaking? Are you kidding me, Seth?
I didn't know. I didn't know you were going to do that.
Are you kidding me? Come on, Syracuse.
So, Atan and I, for those of you who are new here, Atan and I are Syracuse alums, and we watch our alma mater, and they have had 2 home games. No fans have been in there, but they've had their dome. And Saturday, they lost to Duke, and it poured up in central New York. It was just pouring, and water leaked through this brand new roof that they spent the entire summer. Yes. And I'm not a roofing guy, but I got to think that that's the first thing you're trying to fix.
Of course.
I don't know. That was
gracious.
That was bonkers. Oh, but have you spoken to or will you speak to Dion Waiters, who won a ring? He's the second Syracuse player to win an NBA championship. How great is that? And when are we getting him on our show?
Oh, I'm happy for him. I actually sent him a message, on Instagram, and told him congratulations and everything like that. I'm happy for him. And he was in an interesting situation. He was going to get a ring regardless of which team won. Fantastic.
That's
fantastic. That's great.
I thought that was so fun. That was so cool. One thing about the fake crowd noise, just at least in baseball, and I've heard it's in football too, and I'm going to a football game I think in 2 weeks, and that is, it's not on the TVs. We've been screaming at the TV networks like, don't put these fake crowd sounds.
Right, it's not
in
them.
the stadiums.
Yeah.
They're playing the fake crowd sound in the stadiums.
Yeah.
That stinks. That's brutal.
Yeah, it's tough.
Stop it. I
They're
love the noise. I love all the noise.
Yeah, they're trying to simulate what the players are used to hearing. I don't know. They're trying. I don't know.
How can people find you online?
So I'm at Atan Thomas 36 on Twitter, Atan Thomas 36 on Instagram, and my website is atanthomas.com.
There you go. Very good. Well, thanks, man. Thank you so much for coming into our Twitch Sports maiden voyage here, and I will text you because I know you don't call me back.
Right, text me. Have a good one, man.
All right, man. I'll see ya.
All right.
That is Atan Thomas, and of course, Atan played for the Washington Wizards for such a long time, and he's a great guy. And Choi banned fake crowd noise 2020 in a heartbeat, in an absolute heartbeat. We're gonna put that on there. Look at that, ban fake crowd noise 2020. If you come over to my channel, you can do all of this stuff. And you can follow us, but you can also subscribe. You can also you can buy coffee. There's all kinds of neat things on the screen underneath our little video here. And coming up in about 15 minutes from now, Cam Cleland, and we'll do a lot of NFL with him. One other nugget that we haven't talked about, and one thing I've learned from knowing Atan is he was never going to talk baseball, is, first of all, the tragic losses that Major League Baseball has undergone in the last 72 hours. It started last week with Whitey Ford passing, and I'll tell you a quick story about Whitey Ford. He knows, this is kind of weird to say, he was very close to my in-laws, and my wife's grandfather was dear friends with Whitey Ford, and I got a chance to know him really later in life, and it was really, really neat. The one thing that we're looking at is, when we go in this direction, if you talk about guys from another generation, all I can offer is to say, what a good dude. What a really, really good dude, and what a really nice person. Today, another Hall of Famer passed away, Joe Morgan, longtime Cincinnati Red, played in the big league for 22 years. And a little-known fact about him is he played 9 years for the Houston Astros, and nobody knows that. Nobody knows that he played for the Houston Astros. He's only famous for being with the Cincinnati Reds, and what a nice man, too. People of our generation will know him as the announcer on ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday Night Baseball is one of those things that was an institution for me growing up. I loved Sunday Night Baseball. I don't watch it now because A-Rod's unlistenable. And yes, if enough people in the chat room ask me, I'll tell an A-Rod story. Now it's unwatchable, and I like Matt Vasgersian a lot, but that A-Rod is unlistenable. But John Miller and Joe Morgan were fantastic when they were. They started in 1990 and they went through 2010, and it was a magical broadcast. It was must watch, and Joe Morgan was one of the smartest human beings I ever knew, and I got a chance to meet him a couple of times when I worked for the league. And Miller Moulton fan Andrew says Joe played for the Phillies too. He played for a bunch of teams, but people only know him as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. The third person that passed away is a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Lee Solomon, and you don't necessarily know who he is. And I understand if you don't know who Jimmy Lee Solomon is, but The one thing that you have to recognize with regard to baseball is when Bud Selig was getting up there in years, I was convinced that Jimmy Lee Solomon would have been the next commissioner. And I treated him like that. I talked to him like that. And I would always focus on the idea that he was the next commissioner. I never thought it was going to be Rob Manfred. I never considered that it would be Rob Manfred. And the argument that you get with regard to why it should have been Jimmy Lee Solomon created the futures game. He created the civil rights game. He created the RBI program, which is reviving baseball in inner cities. And he's just one of the smartest human beings I've ever known. And back in the 2000s, I worked for MLB, and Jimmy Lee was the guy. Like I felt he was like the Godfather. Like he wanted to kiss his ring. He was just a hell of a guy. And one of the people that I'm working with, and I'm going to get on my Sports with Friends podcast to talk about Whitey Ford, Joe Morgan, but also Jimmy Lee Solomon, who, again, doesn't have the fanfare. He's not a Hall of Famer like the other two, but just a really, really good guy. All right, can't bring it up like that and not tell the story. A-Rod. A-Rod's one of the phoniest people's say it slower. A-Rod is one of the phoniest people I've ever met. And he and I have had 6 to 10 legitimate screaming matches over the years. And it started in 2001 when he signed with the Texas Rangers, because in the late 90s, when I worked with the Mariners, he was our shortstop. And I knew him, and we were friendly. I wouldn't say we were ever friends, but we were friendly. I was closer with Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. is a guy that I swear by. And in a second, I have to help get Kim Cleland on Zoom. So I'm going to need like 60 seconds. And, you know, the one thing that you have to recognize is if there's any opportunity for Alex Rodriguez to tell a lie, he told it. And we would just brawl. And, you know, when I was with the Mariners, I used to put him on the postgame show because he would always make himself available. But then when he signed with Texas, he started getting faker than fake. And like I said, there's so many tales and so many bits that not the good bits that you guys can give to this channel here. He's a jerk. He's just such a punk. And the last fight we had was right in 2010, so about 10 years ago. We haven't had much to do with each other since his suspension. And now he's on this multimedia kick, and all it means is he hired a good PR person because he didn't change. He didn't suddenly become a nicer fellow because he's doing broadcasting with David Ortiz on Fox Sports, whatever it's called. That doesn't make you a good guy. And on Sunday Night Baseball, he is literally he's easily one of the just phoniest human beings I've ever known. But again, I don't want to rip it that bad. They're in isolation now, so you assume that everybody is staying healthy in baseball, and that's a pretty safe assumption. I think the American League Series is in San Diego, and I'm just going to sit here and say that San Diego without fans is really, really sad. It's one of the places that I think should have fans, because if you've ever been in that center field lawn area, those are some of the most gorgeous people you'll ever see in your life. And that will be one of those things. Here's a question. The Hotel Streamer, I think I'm saying your name right. Do you think hockey will have a better season next year despite COVID? See, hockey's in a worse situation to me than basketball in that their bubble was better than everybody's. They had the best return. Their product was the ultimate. Visually, it looked gorgeous. The way they took the tarps and custom built them to fit the arenas so they didn't just look like somebody threw a tablecloth over the stands, and they looked like those things actually belong. And when you watched hockey, I thought it looked amazing. It looked the closest thing to non-neutral site games. I thought hockey was great, but that was very expensive, and they don't have the television money that even the NBA has. So to not have fans, I don't know how you do it. And my argument has been, I want sports back because I've loved this last 6 weeks. These last 6 weeks have been great. It's been a cornucopia. It's been your cup runneth over with the amount of sports. But ultimately, I don't know how we could ask these leagues to play games and not have fans. Again, I don't know how we could. And my argument has been, I want it to happen, but I want it to happen right. And I don't know how. I don't think the option, I don't know, because I'm going to be confident and hope that in the next couple of months we get our act together with COVID. And, I'm tired of talking about COVID. I mean, I take it seriously, and I'm a mask person, and I definitely play it safe, but I want it done. I want to be moved on. I want my kids in school all the time. I want all those things, and I want all of it. My fear is that if we have more delays, what happens if some arenas can have fans and some arenas can't? And what if, teams, in certain parts of the North America can say yes and some can't? And what about teams that don't have good television contracts, the local deals? All of that has to be a factor, and that's the problem. I mean, that's one of the things. He writes, looks close as it gets to a real game. Will the league have enough after to even support the teams? They spent a lot of money during doing all the extra covers and fan posters. Right. They spent a fortune on that bubble, and they bought out a restaurant in Toronto. When the bubble was in Toronto, they bought out a restaurant. And the players and everybody in the bubble could go to that restaurant and still be in the bubble. Think about how much that cost. And it was just a huge undertaking. And I'm not trying to name drop because I've told you I can't get Adam Silver on my podcast. But Sports with Friends, if you subscribe to it, I'm working on getting Gary Bettman on the show in the next month. We're trying. All right. I need literally 60 seconds to help get Cam Cleland, because he texted me and he's saying that he's having trouble getting on the show, and we definitely want to get him on before we go. So literally, give me 60 seconds. I will literally be right back. Okay. All right. We took care of that. Was it under a minute? I just sent it to him. For all the people, and this is why they say, if you can, you can send some support over to the show. We'll hire a producer or something. We'll do whatever we can. We'll send it. Come on over. Okay, Cam Cleland, hopefully, in just a second. Andrew writes, Seth, I will probably not see a movie in a theater for another 18 months. These graphics are the closest I will get to a movie theater. Oh, we made it? We made it under a minute? Andrew timed it at 47 seconds. All right. Yeah, until we get Cam... if anybody wants to ask any questions, so we did it. Why do people take breaks on Twitch? I see all those people taking breaks every once in a while. I mean, I've never taken a break, but we tried. We under 60 seconds. I just had to send this email with the link to get on it. We do this through the magic of Zoom, and we're doing the best we can. So